We want to take this time to point you at another podcast. We're really grateful you're here to listen to us, but you should also take a minute and go and follow and subscribe to Hearts and Carts. They're the CPG podcast. It's run by Alex Hill and Justin Osborne, and it's about the people behind the products that are winning hearts and filling carts. We love these guys. They've been on the show. We've been on their show, and we think they're doing amazing things, and you should stop in and listen to them.
Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Benucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Good day. Oops.
Yeah, it's been busy, but good.
Oh my
Busy's
goodness,
okay.
it's been so busy.
Busy's okay.
So busy. Yeah. It
It's
is.
good.
It is nice to meet you. This is Kenny, and I'm Phil.
Hi.
But it's so cool to meet you. I know the brand. I was actually trying to figure out like the first time I had a greenhouse, and I think it was a long time ago before I knew it was greenhouse. And then as I started looking through your stuff, I realized that I've probably been drinking your stuff all along without actually knowing it was greenhouse for a long time. And now, like, I actually know, and that's super cool as well. So, yeah. So
I'm glad to hear that you've been drinking greenhouse for a while.
I'm looking at the webpage.
It's funny. So the spot, it looks exactly like the picture, but like 5 McPherson is like right down the street. We used to have friends that lived really close to Summerhill subway station. I'm in Toronto, Kenny's in Vancouver, and so like I think we'd walk past that store and kind of go, that's super cool, and then go in and get drinks. But I don't think I ever knew for a long time. Anyway, funny. And then
Yeah.
I ran into you again. I was helping the folks at Tao Tea. He's a tea guy here in Toronto that has 3 stores, and he was looking for, I think it was people that did, I'm going to get it wrong, but I think it was oat milk at the time. And that led me to you guys. And then I reached out to your sales guy who connected me with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of a funny
Yeah.
world. Yeah. Yeah. So
It's a small world.
yeah, it definitely is. I'll do a quick intro. And then
I'm gonna grab my water.
yeah, do your thing.
I do apologize. I'm working from home today, and my
That's
son
okay.
might come and say hi. But
No,
That's fine.
everybody's welcome on the. We've had
That's
cats
fine.
on the podcast. We've had dogs.
We've had
on
everything.
The
It's not a big. We've
podcast.
had babies crying. We've had people walk
babies,
through.
siblings,
Okay.
you name it.
Yeah.
It's all good. We had
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
We had one
Don't be
founder
offended
who,
if I don't say hi.
oh no, we had one founder who forgot to tell his wife about the podcast, so she came on the show, and we're like, so we kind of had to. Do you remember we had to save him because she was like, you didn't tell them. We're like, no, maybe he told us and we forgot. Like we,
It's all good. Whatever. The more, the merrier.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Whatever happens is all good.
Okay, great.
So we were talking to Hannah. Do you go by James or McConville?
We can go by Hana James. That's like
Okay.
I got married obviously more recently and before, like in between, and so I've just stayed. My actual name is Hannah McConville, but for Greenhouse, for all intents and purposes, I'm Hana James.
Okay. So we're talking to Hana James. She's the co-founder at Greenhouse, co-founder, director of community at Greenhouse. And Greenhouse is this wonderful place. Used to be a Toronto thing, but it's not a Toronto thing now because it looks like you are all over the place. But it's a wonderful place to get all sorts of drinks. Like
This is really cool.
Um,
So nice pay. Nice stuff.
yeah, like really nice stuff. So cold pressed juices,
Yeah.
kombuchas, shakes, if you
Cleanse
want plant
kits.
milks, like all sorts of things, right? And you guys kind of heard a little bit of the story. A lot of times we know folks who know somebody when they come on the show, but we've never met Hannah, and we've just met her, and she's amazing. So welcome to the show. Um,
Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, and
Excited,
so
excited to be here.
what we
Yeah.
normally do is we kind of go, we'd love to hear about you and kind of how you got to where you are. The next kind of 45 minutes is your journey. So wherever you want to take us, we're happy to follow. And so we'll kind of like I'll now stop rambling and stop talking and then let you kind of take this thing where you want it to go. But welcome, and we're so glad to have you on.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here and to chat to you guys about, the journey it's been. We actually just celebrated on January 8th. It's Greenhouse's birthday. So we celebrated our ninth birthday, which is,
No way.
yeah,
Nice.
it's always a really exciting, it's a really nice time because we reflect and that usually something big happened with the company and
Yeah.
where we tried, and it's just, but it's a nice time to kind of reflect on where we've come because it's hard to do that any other time. It's always kind of just go, 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 even when really exciting things happen.
Yeah.
There's still things
Well, there's the
to do.
chaos of the day, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a kind of a fitting time to
Wow.
Yeah.
sit down and chat because we just had our birthday and
9 years is a good run, though.
yeah, it's good and it's coming up to the big. We said we'd do something big for our 10 year and so we've got a big year ahead of us that we've got hopefully we'll have lots to celebrate next year for our 10 years.
Wow, very
Hmm.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, where do you want to?
Where do you want to
Because
start? Because now I'm
yeah, where do you
curious to
want to
see
start?
how.
Like so many.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to go
Yeah,
pre 9 years because I want to know how you got to that 9 years
yeah,
ago
we
to
can
here.
we can do that. Yeah, so I can there's obviously lots and lots to say, but yeah, so I grew up in Toronto. My uh co-founders also grew up in Toronto. We have known each other. So my co-founder Anthony Green, he actually his sister and my sister were best friends growing up. So we knew each other. That kind of. I was the younger sister. He was the older brother. We crossed paths often. Very good family friends. And then my other co-founder Emma Knight, who they're actually married, Anthony and Emma. And Emma and I also we went to two different girls' schools in Toronto, but had overlapping friends and just
Yeah.
the kind of same. So we all had we've known each other for many many years now. But at the time before starting Greenhouse, they were off. They were living in LA. They were they were starting to build their life there. I was in Toronto. I just well not just I guess I'd gone to school. I went to McGill, and my plan was to go to medical school. That was, I took anatomy and cell biology. Uh, food and health had always been a big part of my life. Like my mom was in the health food industry. My dad is a Tai Chi meditation teacher. So they're both kind of hippie, like, I like to
Yeah,
call them old hippies. I don't know if they appreciate that or not, but
probably not, but
um,
that's okay.
they so I grew up, they were vegetarian, they were macrobiotic. So we were all, I was the kid bringing, like brown rice and tofu in my lunchbox to school and stuff. So always kind of, I was used to eating in a more alternative way, but also really interested in food and health and how that kind of worked in your body would take like my electives were a lot of them were nutrition courses and along those lines. So I was really interested in it, but I didn't think that was going to be part of my journey. Thought medical school was where I was headed. I left McGill. I took a year to do my MCATs and my applications, and I started working in this like little cafe. It was like not even a healthy cafe. Like they served croissants, but they also served quinoa, and they had like gluten free options and dairy free options. And this was back when like those that wasn't something you found at every single place that you went. It was it's like what 2000 and we opened in 2014, so that was probably like 2011 kind of situation. So this wasn't, the words that we're using that I use every day, like plant-based and, the gluten-free and like allergen-free, like these weren't words that people were using every day, or especially not mainstream places. So I was working at this little cafe and I loved it. I got up at like 6 in the morning to go and make coffee and get people breakfast. And I made some really great relationships with the local the daily customers. And we would chat about their health, about why they would come in here for, they loved the quinoa salad, for instance. They couldn't find quinoa in a lot of places, and why they loved this. And I loved it. I really enjoyed making those connections, talking to people about their health, and just kind of being in that world. And so at the same time, I'm also trying to write my applications and these essays that are like, why do you love research, and like what medical research are you going to contribute to the community? And I was like, I hate research. I love, like, the side of medicine I loved was like connecting with, like, in my mind, medicine was like connecting with patients and like, digging deep about like all their issues, and like, I think that I have huge respect for the medical community and that career path, but I realize it's a lot more than that, which it has to be, it
Yeah,
has to be.
not that.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of the research side of things, which I didn't realize. There's a lot of red tape. There's a
There's
lot
a
of
lot of
regulation.
bureaucracy buried into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
different world.
it's a
Yeah.
different world. And so kind of going, which was a very eye-opening experience. I'm glad that they have such a rigorous application process, because it opens your eyes to what is to come for
Yeah.
the next 10 years of your education. And I couldn't write the essays without they sounded trite. They were, the things that were coming onto the paper were kind of the things that you're like, pass, because this person clearly isn't passionate about this.
Right.
And so it didn't feel like a right fit. And then so I'm doing that, and then also doing this thing that I really love that had nothing to do with medicine, but did have to do with health and connecting people to people and food. So I decided that I was going to not go to medical school, and I was going to open my own business. It was going to be like an organic snack cafe situation, and I was fortunate enough to I knew like I ended up doing this. It was called Cafe Shoe, and it was inside of a gym. So it was a great kind of foray. Like, I didn't have to take a lease. It was like, minimal. Like, there wasn't like huge overhead. But I said to my parents, who were obviously very supportive, because yeah, they're very supportive parents. I'm very lucky that way. But they were very supportive. I said, I can always go to medical school. Like, if by the time I'm 30, um, I this isn't working out for me, like, I can go to medical school then. There's always time. And I was like, but this doesn't feel right. And this feels like, this time I'm like excited and I have the energy and the time. I don't have a family or any real other responsibilities. So I was like, I'm going to
Hmm.
try this. And so I did that for 3 years. I ended up opening 2 locations with inside of this gym, Totem Life Science. And it was great. I did, like, as I said, organic, healthy meals. I did smoothies, and I did juice that wasn't cold pressed. It was slow mastication. So I was in this kind of world of health, health foods and customers and retail. So at the time, right before we started Greenhouse, I was kind of at this, like, again, another crossroads in my life, where it was, I'm inside of a gym, so there's limitations. There's limitations to this business model. What is my next step? Like, do I take this business and do it elsewhere? Do I do something else? Like, what, I was really enjoying it, but it was definitely, I needed to do something. I need to make a change after those 3 years. I realized that this kind of had reached its
Hmm.
growth potential. And so at the same time, Anthony and Emma, they were living in LA, and they were surrounded by, it's surrounded by a very different lifestyle than Toronto, even though Toronto is always compared to, New York and LA, where they're all cosmopolitan cities. But Toronto wasn't, we didn't have any, we didn't have cold pressed juice. It was something that was very prominent in both New York and LA, but it just wasn't, there was juice bars and there were smoothie bars, but they weren't cold pressed. And when I would go to New York or go to LA, it's something that would become part of your life because it was so available and it's so accessible. And it was great. It was something that was delicious. It was something that made you feel good. Um, and readily available. So Anthony and Emma were like, why don't we have this? We should open this in Toronto. And they kind of approached me to join them in this venture. And they see timing as, I think, timing is is a lot of how people get to where they are, and it just was the perfect time. I was ready to do something different. I'd been working on my own, so working with partners was something that I was very, excited about and was very open to the idea. And so that's kind of how I got on board with Greenhouse, and we opened in January of 2014. Not enough time to open a juice bar in Toronto. The year that we opened, it was like -30. There was, I think that I don't know, Phil, I know you're in Toronto. I don't know how long you've lived here, but it was the year that we had
Forever.
that big ice storm.
Yes.
So okay, so the ice storm that like
Yes, I
took out
remember.
power for like
Yeah.
so like it took
Yeah.
out power, and so we decided to open then. It was that year, and we were like, this is perfect because it will be slow. Like we're just like, we don't know what we're doing really, like in the grand scheme of things. We're
Yeah.
making juice. I know we know what we're doing in a sense, but this is our first time trying to do this kind of business. So we're going to just take it slow. It will be our friends and our parents coming out and supporting us because they're the only people who would trek out in this weather for something with the word cold in its name. And yeah, so we were excited to kind of have that time before spring hit, and people were really excited about juice. So we opened our doors and we sold out within like an hour of opening. And not that we didn't make like a ton of juice because we were planning for not a big but we sold out, and then we doubled that production and we sold out again, and that kind of
Wow.
went on for January. We started with, I think, 3 employees, which that just doubled and tripled and quadrupled as we were able to hire people. We were so McPherson, the store on 5 McPherson you were
Yeah.
talking about, is that actually was it started out as our, by day, it's a cute little cottage for those of you who haven't seen it. It's a cute little cottage kind of on a side street off a main busy strip. But yeah, it looks like a little tiny cottage. It was
But seriously,
inspired.
it's super cute. Like it just catches your eye off of the main street, but literally it's like it makes everyone go, wait, what is that? Like I gotta go see. And that's how we got there, right? Is we were literally wandering around going, oh, what is that? Right? And then like popping up. So super cute. When you're in Toronto,
Yeah,
Kenny,
no,
I'll
it's
show you.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's very cute. It's inspired our name. It's like
Yeah.
it looks like a little greenhouse.
Yeah.
It was a 24-hour operation. We were using that. We were selling juice during the day, and then hi baby. We were selling juice during the day, and we were okay, give me a kiss. Okay, go. I know. Oh, I know, sir. He normally comes and writes a few emails and usually closes whatever meeting I'm in. So he's not pleased about that situation. Um, but yeah, anyway, so we were actually like a kind of a 24-hour operation. We were in the day, we were selling juice, and then when we sold out, we would start producing for the next day, and kind of we would save some product to sample. We did a lot of sampling in those days because I think it was exciting because we felt like Toronto needed this, but then the reception that we got validated that sentiment that Toronto really was interested. We thought we were with service the neighborhood we were in, but really people were coming from far away, from all areas of the city, outside of the city, which was really exciting to see. It was really, people wanted to learn about the product. We put a huge focus, which we still do, on education, on transparency, and it was great to see the different types of people, the different types of customers. We thought we had a customer in mind, and really it was much larger than that, because there were a lot of people who were familiar with cold pressed juice, who done it who are juicing because of health issues, as something like gut issues, to as serious as fighting cancer and not being able to get nutrients in any other way. and fighting, like struggling to even make the product themselves, and us having this a product that was also also packaged in glass, 100% organic. um it was they were it was for them, it was something they were going to come they were coming back because they needed to for their health. And then there was people who had no idea what cold pressed juice was. We had to explain the process, and they were very skeptical. They're like, okay, this sounds this doesn't really, they were sure, whatever, and
It's a little hippie,
it was
yeah, whatever.
expensive.
Just let me try it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, let me try it. And my thing was, like, we wrote the way that we talked to customers was that we were like, it's, see how you feel, try it. We'll sample. You can try every single product we have if you'd like. We'll find something you like, try, incorporate it into your life, don't take anything out, and see how you feel. And I think that that was a huge thing, is people felt the difference. They felt how the juice made them feel. Like, not only did they enjoy drinking it, but they also, that you get, if for first time juice drinkers, you do get a little bit of like this rush of nutrients, because it's a special product. It's a product that's really, really nutrient dense. It doesn't take, you don't need to digest anything to get those nutrients. So you get this rush of energy, and there's no crash later on that you might get from other things that give
Right.
you that a similar rush. And it's a really special product. So, we believed in it. So I think the talking, being able to talk about it and have people try it was huge in those early days. It was really exciting to kind of meet the customers and see that range of, see the range of customers that we got. We quickly grew out of the space at 5 McPherson, very, very quickly. It was probably, after we would like move counters out of the way, there'd be juice and produce everywhere. But later that year, and I think by June it was ready, we moved into our first production facility, well, our second production facility, just in Leslieville on 2 Strange Street, which was the best address in Toronto, we thought. And uh, it was 1,500 square feet compared to our 500 square feet that we were using for both retail and production. So we thought we would be like golden in this place, and we ran out of space. I also, probably on the first day we moved in, we realized that it was just too small. By that time, we'd also opened a couple more locations, and yeah, things were snowballing. They were
And each
they were going
location had their
faster
own
than we.
production. Each location had their own.
No, we actually
You did
we
it at the one
produced all
location
out
and
of
fed
out of
out.
the one yeah, and
Okay.
then we fed out. We started doing delivery quite early on, doorstep delivery,
It's a
kind of.
lot of stuff to do
We
out of
thought,
1,500 square feet, eh?
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought, like modern day milkman, like this is something that
Yeah.
we're building healthy habits. It's something that you drink daily, that you incorporate into your life. We want it to be an accessible and easy approach to health as well. Not saying you can only do this or you can only
Right.
have this. It was more about just adding to your lifestyle and making things easier, and not have, if you wanted to go for dinner, if you were going for dinner that night, and you could have your juice, your green juice in the afternoon, and you don't have to worry about having a fries or a salad. You could really just, it was just an easy, accessible way to get your nutrients in. And it was also enjoyable, which I think is a big turning point in health, is that people realize that you can be healthy and you can live a healthy life, and it doesn't have to be a sacrifice.
Right.
That you
Or a
can
chore.
still, yeah, or a chore. It can be really enjoyable. It can be luxurious.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be something like a hippie, something that you do in someone's basement that's like, that you can't tell anyone about.
And if you
It's
can still do
something.
that if you want to, it's up to you, really.
Yeah, exactly.
No
You
judging.
can choose your path. No judgment. We're definitely a space of no judgment. But
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it was really interesting. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was interesting because Toronto, being such a cosmopolitan city in 2014, didn't have a lot of access to, these kind of more accessible health. Like, a lot, they had healthy places, but they were, it was strictly vegan or strictly this type
Right.
of diet, or so it was nice. I think we were able to build a community around, like, start building the community around health, of people who just were wanted health. Not, it wasn't, they
Right.
didn't want it for all these other reasons. It's just they wanted to incorporate it into their lifestyle, and they want it to be
Something
easy.
easy, something tasty without a lot of effort. I don't want to go hardcore vegan. I don't want to be a vegetarian. I just want to feel better. I want a product that just does it simply.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tastes
and
good,
then and
looks good.
yeah, exactly. And at the same time, doing it, we were doing it with the commitments that we decided very early on when
Perfect.
we started the company to make it so that if you were, if you also needed to fulfill kind of these things
You're
for
there.
your lifestyle, we're there as well. So
Perfect.
yeah, so that's kind of so we've grown quite a bit since then. We opened more stores. We built a 35,000 square foot production facility in Mississauga, which is kind of where we produce out of today, which enables us to ship across Canada. Um, we realized also very early on that the shelf life of the product was going to hinder our business to be. We want it to be very accessible. Being accessible outside of Toronto as well, and that shelf life was not helping us in that
So what
regard
was
or
what
in the
was your
price
shelf
point.
life?
3 to 5 days, depending
3 to 5 days is
on the
tough
product.
to ship.
Yeah, it was very tough. It was tough to manage inventory in our own stores that we were in every single
Right.
day. So we realized that that was something like a problem that we would need to tackle sooner rather than later. And we worked with we have research scientists on our team, and we kind of came up with this. We now use this novel technology that helps extend that shelf life while maintaining the nutrients in the product.
So you didn't
And
have to
also,
pasteurize or anything like that. Like you didn't have
no,
to.
so yeah, so pasteurization for us wasn't an option
Well,
because
you're going to kill it.
yeah, the whole thing is keeping the product cold.
Right.
And then HPP is no,
Yeah.
not sure if
Yeah.
that's another, it's a pasteurization with pressure that a lot of juice companies use.
Yeah.
But for us, you have to package in plastic. And for us, that was definitely a non-negotiable. We wanted it to be packaged in glass. So we use something that we've coined light filtration that uses cold UV light and fluid dynamics, and it actually achieves the same reduction in bacteria that pasteurization does.
Really?
But it maintains the integrity of the nutrients, and you're still left with a very nutrient dense product. And again, we don't have we a lot of our, we're always working to kind of extend the shelf life of our products, but it does also doesn't achieve that same kind of long shelf
You
life
can
that
do it. You either got to
pasteurization.
kill it or you got to add a bunch of stuff to it. So
Yeah, so
it's going to
yeah,
deter from the product, obviously.
we it's something that we put a big focus on to how do we do this without taking away from the product.
So how long
Kind
are
of
you now?
it really ranges. It ranges for each product, but like it can be 30 days to 120 days.
Oh,
Like
so you're
our
30 days
kombuchas.
is
Yeah,
30
so
days is
significant.
tight, but it's
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
super reasonable from
yeah,
4 or 5 days.
it's what
Okay,
enables us
that's
to kind of now be
for
Canada.
sure.
Yeah, exactly. And once we were able to get to that shelf life, then we were able to kind of break into the CPG business
For
and
sure.
now be available on grocery shelves across the country, which is very exciting, and continue to grow that grow the brand outside of Toronto.
We'll be right back after this. Hey, Kenny,
Yes, Phil.
where are we going to be March 30th through April 2nd?
Well, March 30th, you're going to be setting up at the CHFA now in Vancouver and getting all our podcast stuff ready to go and probably helping me set up our booth at the CHFA now trade show. What were you
It's going to
thinking of doing
be,
that weekend, Phil?
I was pretty excited. I think I'm going to be looking forward to hanging out with Lindsay and Aaron and I don't know, a few
I
thousand of
am
our
super stoked.
closest brand friends and our,
100%.
right?
I love this show. I love this show, especially the Vancouver show. No offense to you guys in Toronto, Phil, but the Vancouver show is a cool show. There's probably going to be close to 1,000 vendors there. They're going to get a couple thousand retailers. It is a wicked way to see what's new and cool in our industry. The only way for the natural health organic industry to grow is supporting things like this, whether supporting it on the brand side, the retail side, and really and truly, I mean, I know you and I both feel the same about this on the organizational nonprofit side. These organizations are fundamental to maintaining and growing these industries within our country. I don't know if you agree with that or how to word it, but I think these are critical organizations.
I agree 100%. I think the other thing that you'll see there is, a very healthy dialogue between brands and retailers. They're going to be talking about, so CHFA is kind of where you go to talk about everything natural, organic. If you're worried about or thinking about
Wellness.
wellness, all of those products, all of those things are going to be there. Um, this is a show that you really need to be at. It's going to be in Vancouver, March 30th through April 2nd. If you head to chfanow.ca/Vancouver, you'll be able to find out more.
Get your tickets, get going. Great show. And Phil and I would love to catch up and meet with
We
you.
absolutely would. Kenny will give you a hug for sure.
Oh, you got to hug that. That's an easy peasy. Interesting.
I've been smiling like crazy because I think I've got the flip side to your story. Because I started working in kind of retail tech at startups, kind of like that right near Totem on King Street. So like
Oh
that
yeah.
Spadina King area right around 2013, 2014. And like then it was like the evolution was how do you make the most ridiculous kind of coffee ever with like the 18 accessories you need to from like a pour over and the weights and all that stuff to then going, listen, this is crazy. We don't want that. We want cold brew. And then it was just everyone was like all coffeeed out. And then it was like, we want to eat healthier. And the only thing that we could find was the seriously vegan kind of products like Comfort and Kim, like people like that were super serious about vegan everything. And you were like, I don't want, right? And then you think of like all the California expats who were coming home because the tech industry was starting to boom. We were looking for like all of this stuff, right? So I actually remember even like the bar because I think you got out already, but like the bar at Totem. Totem is like a local gym, Kenny, around the corner
Yeah.
from like Hubba where we were. But like I remember like all of those sort of places starting to sell like fresh pressed juices or like freshly squeezed juice. Well, freshly squeezed because what do we know, right? Like so, because we were all looking for the same thing, which was like, I don't want to be that because I'm not vegan, I'm not veggie, but I don't want to drink insert national brand name here, right? Like because I've figured out all the sugar crap and I just need to drink something healthier. So it like it's almost like it's really funny, right? Because you were telling that story, and all I kept thinking about was like, oh, this is, oh my gosh, like this is, And then my wife, who I kept bringing home all these things, the word hippie or hipster came up more than a few times, right? Because she was like, stop bringing home your crazy techie hipster ways now. Like you're not that, we're not that. But then they love, they love the fresh stuff now, right? So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, no,
very
I think
cool.
that that's like kind of the best
Yeah.
part is that it has become something that is part of a lot, like a lot of people who might not call themselves healthy will drink cold pressed juice or will, incorporate certain different health things into their lives because
Hmm.
it is just it's more available, it's more
Right.
accessible. Which I think which is great. It is a this it's a different city now, as I said, like, on almost every menu you go to, there's a plant-based, at least an option, that, plant-based options. There's a whole section, or there's whole restaurants that are, fancy and they're not just like takeaway spots. There's a
Right.
lot of, I think there's been a lot of development in that, in the health and wellness sector in Toronto, over the last 9 years.
So exciting. So exciting. Like this
Yeah.
is such a cool so now you've got like you guys have grown a lot, right? Because you've gone from the two stores, but you've got two,
He
four,
can sit with
six,
you.
seven,
It's not gonna
seven
kill us.
stores, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, come say hi.
Hi. Yeah, there
Hi.
we go. Okay,
Hi.
yeah. Yes.
Oh
Oh,
boy. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. How old is
Yeah, you
he?
waving? He
Hi.
is. How old are you? 19 months?
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Wow.
yeah, a year. We're a year and a half. We're a big guy.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Peekaboo.
he's pointing to your dog, or like the dog poster you
Oh, this
have on your
picture
wall.
here. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah,
very into it. He's like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
I know that. I know what that is.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
we're happy now.
All I want
That's
to do is
Pretty
sit with Mum
cool.
for a
awesome.
minute. Just wanted to hang out.
Yeah, he wants to hang out. It's totally cool.
Yeah, he loves to hang out with Mama. This is his his post snap, you go get it. His post snap situation is
Yeah.
comes and hangs out with mom,
Yeah.
and then he goes on his day.
Yeah. We don't get that at all because we like ours are all Kenny's
Mine are
are all out of the
27
house
and
already.
25.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's a
And
long,
yeah,
mine
long,
just want
long
money
time
now.
ago. A
I know.
long,
I
long
was
time
gonna
ago.
say
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like I know. It feels like I don't know with the way that time feels like it's going since I've had him. It feels like that will be very soon, but then also feel like it was
It's
ages,
amazing.
ages.
Like when before you have them, time moves, right?
Yeah.
But it took a long time to get to 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever
Oh
the hell
my
we were.
gosh.
But we had Carly at 30 and I was 30, Maylee was 29 and then 31 and 30, right? And shit, 56 came real fast. Real
I know
fast.
time. I was
Holy
saying that like
moly.
I feel like I really passed into adulthood when I started being like your parents are always like time goes like time
Yeah, and
and
you're
you're
thinking,
like
yeah,
okay
okay, whatever, old
relax.
people. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like when I started being like oh my gosh the years are just it's
I'm
getting
telling
faster
you.
every year. That's when I really felt I was a true
Yeah.
adult is
It'll
when I started telling people younger than me being like you just
you
wait.
just wait. Time goes fast.
Yeah,
You know what?
exactly.
I didn't feel it until I was telling Kenny. So this past Halloween, my 16-year-old daughter, so she's the middle one. She went to a house party for the first time. And I was like, okay, so let's sit down and talk about it. But I feel like wasn't that long ago, right? And then so like halfway through this discussion, she says to me, how do you know all these things? And I was like, that's not important. It's not important. It's not important how I know these things. What's important is
I
you
know these
follow
things.
these sets of things, right? Like,
Exactly.
and that's when you go, oh God, what happened? Like, how is this possible, right? Like, so yeah,
Well, exactly. And
very
you'll just
funny.
start, you'll hear your parents. Like you will start saying things that you'll just sit there and think, I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I cannot believe that sounds exactly like my mom or dad.
Yeah, no,
Then when it comes out in the
that's what it
same
is.
voice and the same tone,
oh God,
shit, man, that's just a day that you think, oh
yeah,
my God, what the hell
oh crap,
happened?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What happened? Oh my. But that's all good. That's why you do this stuff. You do this stuff
Yeah,
so that he
yeah.
and how many follow
Yeah.
behind him have a different place to be
Where
in.
where do you go from here? Like you're nine
Where are
years
you now
in,
though?
you're
So you
you're
got
like seven stores, but you're
your
like
seven
you
stores
ship,
and where are you distributed?
but she has set you have seven retail stores, and then you're
Seven
everywhere
retail
as
So
well.
stores
yes,
in Toronto,
Yeah,
in
greater
Toronto, yeah, seven
GTA.
retail
yeah,
stores in Toronto. Yeah, they're very concentrated kind of to the downtown
Right.
core. So we have our own e-commerce that ships within Toronto, the GTA, as well as across Canada. We've just started shipping into the US
Oh, in
through
States too.
Amazon, and
Okay.
yeah, so we're on Amazon.
wow,
So across Canada and the
yeah,
US, we're in grocery stores across most grocery stores you go to, hopefully most grocery stores you go to, you should be able to
yeah.
find greenhouse. If you don't, you should request that they carry it.
Who do
And
they carry from though? Like how do they like if I'm in Vancouver,
oh,
like
so we have
who would I buy from
you buy
as a
like
retailer?
Whole Foods,
Both sides.
yeah. Oh, so we work with we have a distributor where with Unify with our
Yep.
distributor
Hmm.
across Canada.
Yeah.
And then and then like certain store, then we're in like the Loblaws, the
Yeah.
Sobeys,
The Whole Foods, all the
Whole
Newland,
Foods,
places.
all
yeah,
of those guys,
Yeah.
Metro. Yeah.
a lot of smaller retailers
Yeah.
as well. The ones in Vancouver I don't know as well because I'm not out there as much, unfortunately. But yeah, we're kind of always looking for new partners to work with,
Interesting.
depending on and then we hopefully will be in. So we're shipping to the US to direct to consumer right now, but we're hopefully will be in grocery retailers later this year.
Just baby steps. Gotta be
Wow.
careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be that's kind of
Different
our
growth.
next. Yeah, we're always kind of innovating on the
Yeah.
product side of things, releasing new stuff. So that's we're really our newest. We're very excited about our little booster shots.
I was
They're
going to
kind of
ask you.
60
So
mils.
Saw that.
you
Yeah.
started with cold press juice, like just
Yeah,
cold
cold
press
press
juices.
juice was
Now
we
there's an
did
oat
cold press
milk.
juice. Yeah, we did cold our first lineup was really cold press juice. We had some like hydrators, nut milk or plant milks, and we did smoothie. We do smoothies in our stores.
Right.
And so now we do, we do our cold pressed juice still, obviously, our biggest category. We do plant milks, which include an oat milk, almond milk. We do shakes, which are plant milk based. We
Right.
do kombuchas.
I saw that. And then you do the
We do
shots.
lemonade still, and then we do our shots, which are really amazing. There's either 60 milliliter shots, kind of like mini hits of health, really
Yeah.
nutrient dense, very bioavailable. We have a few new SKUs that are actually shelf stable, so they don't need
Okay. So they're
refrigeration,
not
which is a
cold. It's,
huge.
you can get out of cold chain that
Yeah, it can get out of the
Hmm.
cold chain. We use fermented
Hmm.
products in that, in a different way, but
okay.
it's very those are really exciting products. We just launched a partnership with Porter Airlines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they just bye baby. Yeah, good bucket. They they have just they are expanding and they're now flying out of Pearson to Vancouver
Right.
and kind of like Calgary,
Yeah.
Right.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
So now they have jets and they have more space. So they're going to be carrying our booster shots on board, so you can buy them on board.
Not the
Um,
worst place for them on a plane. Seriously,
no,
that's a
it
good
makes
deal.
we've been, we've had a lot of, we don't I don't think we've always chosen the easy route, with glass
Yeah. Glass
and
is a
always
challenge.
being organic. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we've stuck to, as I said, we stuck
Yeah.
to those things that were important to us as a company, and we found a way to make it work. And I think being with an airline is a huge, it makes sense.
Total.
You're traveling, you're not maybe not eating as well that day, you're swollen, you're this, you're that, there's
Yep.
whatever. It's and having like a little immunity shot in the air kind of for us makes a lot of sense. So we're
Yep.
excited to kind of see that partnership come to life. So yeah, so like hopefully you'll just, I think, from going from here is just seeing us more and more places outside of Toronto,
Right.
building our brand in the same, like, getting that brand loyalty and that brand strength outside of Toronto, and yeah, and seeing our products more places and kind
Well,
of
you're
it
reasonably
becoming,
priced. Your retails are in the game. I mean, they're
yeah,
not on the light side, but they're definitely not on the heavy side. So they're doable and manageable.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's like it's exciting. It's going to be an exciting year for us. I think there's lots of stuff to come.
Okay, cool.
Um, yeah.
You're on Porter flights with our other friends. So we had Colleen from Three Farmers on. Three
Okay.
Farmers does all the chickpea stuff.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw her posting about them getting on all the Porter
Which is
flights
good.
as well,
If
which
Porter
is really
supports some
cool.
Canadian stuff,
Listen,
Well,
that's
like
good
you
too.
get healthy snacks like
Come
Three
on, that's
Farmers, and then you get
yeah, that's not the worst options to have on a plane.
healthy,
There's enough
no,
crap
they're
at the
doing
airports.
yeah,
they're doing like
yeah,
a really cool. I
That's
think that they
awesome.
like their new thing is like they're focusing on kind of like reimagining the economy experience and taking into account that, yeah, like that health, like a flight is when you need to be most health. So having like fresh,
yes,
healthy
hundred
meals
That's
percent.
all a good
versus,
thing.
like things, it's like, to kind of like combat the wariness and
Right.
the things that people feel after a flight. They're kind of being like, we don't need to feel this way, and they're so it's the new offering is really, with a focus on health, with a focus on Canadian local brands, which is really nice. And they'll be expanding their service to the states later in the year, which is
No, that's
great. So it's
wonderful.
exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting to
Yeah,
partner with companies
yeah,
that, again, that value health,
yeah,
that kind of put that value.
Exactly.
They know
yeah.
it's not the cheapest option, but it's
It's the right
for them
option,
it's the
though.
right
It's the
option.
right
But
Yeah,
it's
option.
also like, and thank God it's something we can recognize, right? Because if you fly the big carriers now, they give you some sort of hard, crispy, salty snack, but you don't know what the hell it is now. Like, it's
They're
not
not even
really
labeled
a
anymore.
no, because it's not really a thing. It's just
Right.
hard and
Just a
salty.
food.
Have
Sure
something
what
hard
the
and
hell it
I
is.
salty. I don't know what it is, right? Like, so it's kind of awesome, right? Like,
Yeah, no, I think it's an exciting, I think it's an
Yeah.
exciting time. I think there's still like, yeah, it's an exciting time to be for health and wellness. Like it's been
Yeah.
really booming for the past few years, but I think there's still a lot of,
It's
yeah, I
all
think there's
uphill.
still a
It's
lot.
all uphill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you get, it's
Yeah.
harder and
Hmm.
harder to get to a doctor, harder and harder to get to a hospital. You got to start taking care of yourself
Yep.
in different
Yep.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Challenges.
Yeah.
definitely.
How has been supply chain for you in terms of glass,
Hmm.
lids?
It's definitely been it's been tough. Our supply, like, I think, I think like all businesses, we don't like, our margins took a hit in last year with just, freight was a huge
But
cost.
yeah,
Yeah,
Ay,
freight
ay,
was
ay.
bad.
Yeah.
Starting to get it's
yeah,
starting to get it's starting to get better, but that's the supply chain stuff. We have a lot of and it's hard. We have to plan very we do obviously a lot of volume planning. We buy in
yeah,
bulk, but then if something comes up that we're not, we also take opportunities when they come. And so if something happens, or for some reason, one product does better than we anticipated, it's hard. It's definitely, that's
for
also
sure,
tough too.
for sure.
But it's a good, good problem to
Yeah,
have
worst things that
when,
happen. I mean, to have, right?
yeah.
So
Hmm.
interesting. Wow,
But yeah,
that's
lots of
yeah. I mean, sounds like you got your stuff figured out, though. I mean, the shelf life issue would have been the first place I went when you addressed it. That's pretty good. If you can do that and maintain the integrity of the product, because yeah, 3 to 5 days, you're not shipping outside of the city. 3 to 5 days, you're barely
no,
shipping in the city.
yeah, exactly. It
Right?
was a tough.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
tough.
really, it was tough for a while. And yeah, it just limits the opportunities. And it was hard, it was hard for us to do all the things we wanted to do. So
For
we knew
sure.
that we needed to kind of uh, find a solution for that early on.
So back to what Phil was saying. So like, sort of, what's next? Like, so you've got plant-based milks. You've got some of the
Hmm.
cool shots, which I think are pretty intriguing because their price point is, again, is good. You got your
Yeah.
cold press, obviously. Is there? What are we doing?
Yeah, I think
No
that,
trade
like,
secrets. You don't have to tell us
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
your
Don't
brand.
tell us anything.
definitely, definitely. I think, innovation within all of those lines for sure. We actually just, again, like, with this, we just launched a new booster SKU at Costco, actually only in BC. So hopefully you'll see it on Ontario soon. But
Okay.
you can get like a 10 pack of these ginger defense boosters, which is
Whoa.
one of our immunity shots. So
Yeah.
again, just kind of helping fuel building healthy habits, enabling people to, that if you're taking it daily, you're going to want kind of that 10 pack. So that's a new SKU that we've just released, which is we just launched it this past week at Costco, and it's done
Cool.
it's a limited run, so we'll see what happens there, but hopefully, something
That's a
more
big
to come
deal.
on that front. Yeah, it's
Yeah. That's a
exciting. And
very
so
big deal.
No,
Yeah.
um
even if Costco doesn't take back, if it sells through, it'll
mhm.
sell. It'll sell everywhere.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Right?
but
no,
it's just that you seem to find the moment when you're riding right on the thing, right? And I think
That's it.
people are, even though, like these shots, were the population should have been smarter like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? Like these shots would have been it. But really, like popular opinion is catching up now, right? So people are realizing like,
Mhm.
hey, I've got to do this. So you're kind of like, I think you're right in the right place at the right time for
Absolutely. I think
Costco
you're actually
consumers,
riding the
right?
wave
Like,
up.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so.
Costco
Like,
may
I
not take a
think,
listing. Costco's Costco. Costco does a lot of testing, a lot of trials, ins and outs. Who cares? If
Yeah,
it's
no,
good, if they
all
sell
right,
it's
product, if
look,
it
you
sells,
hook that consumer, like that doesn't matter, right? Because once they figure
absolutely.
out the value of that, whether it's Costco or somewhere
Who
else,
cares? Yeah,
mhm. No,
yeah, and I
good for
think
it's
that
you.
great. We definitely have
yeah,
seen that.
yeah,
Again, the shift over the last 2 years. It's definitely interesting to see
yeah,
see that, how like different customer, again, a new customer set coming out that, not, is now, it's kind of that, it's gone kind of almost full circle. People like really like looking at preventive health, and
Yeah,
not in a way that includes food and beverages and kind of the whole gamut of things, kind of like what it's like, anything I can do, like I want to do whatever I can do. um and the shots for someone, so maybe not, again, the price point is a bit lower. it's not as much of a commitment of something to drink. You don't have to. It's not one of your snacks or anything. It's something you can. I think people who aren't typically healthy or don't want to
Yeah.
commit that much, the shots really makes a lot of sense because it's something they can incorporate to their daily life at very little cost
Right.
to
What's shelf life on
themselves.
them? On the shots?
Those ones have those ones I think again they vary in range, but about 5 months, 5 to 6 months on
Oh,
them.
so
Yeah, it should be pretty long.
I just might
Yeah.
run the Costco
Yeah,
and grab them for the store.
yeah, no, they're great, and they're great, and they work.
Interesting.
Like if you take it, it feels you feel the difference, and you're feeling sick, and you take one of those ginger shots, it kind of knocks it right out of you.
That's awesome.
We love
Well,
it.
Yeah,
good
I
for
love
you.
it.
Good for you.
yeah.
Hannah, thanks for doing this. This
No,
has
it's a
been
cool
amazing.
story.
Oh,
That's
thank you
that's
so much.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
pretty that's pretty
well,
cool.
Yeah.
thanks
That's
so much
pretty
for
cool.
having me. This is a
Oh.
great meeting you both and great chatting. And
Are you coming out for
yeah,
CHFA, or are you doing any of the shows, or are you doing Toronto only?
my team will be there, but I won't be making it out this year. I'm actually pregnant again, so I'm only
Oh wow.
I'm
Congratulations.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm gonna be here for until kind of May, and then I'm off for a little while, so I won't be making the shows, unfortunately, the ones that
Hmm.
aren't in
Okay.
Toronto.
You're,
But
When are you expecting? You
yeah.
expecting in the summer?
yeah, in May.
In
So yeah,
May?
I'll just take off.
Oh,
Oh, so
wow.
Yeah,
this is coming
Okay.
fast. Oof.
yeah, it's coming very fast. I know.
It's
Amazing.
good. You know
Intense,
what? You rattle them off quick. Like our kids were 19 months apart. That's when I saw a 19-month
yeah,
year. I'm thinking, okay, that was the same age she would have been when he came out.
yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
rough at the
No,
beginning,
yeah.
but
It will be.
it's
It will
actually
be nice.
Yeah.
really
It will
nice as
be.
time goes on.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
everyone says
They're
too.
so
They're like,
close, right? Yeah,
It's
they're so
really
close.
yeah,
nice as
Yeah.
time goes on. Like
Yeah.
seriously, really nice.
yeah. So it will be nice, and yeah, he has a lot of cousins, so we always say he's like the fourth abandoned child of like my sister's family because he really feels like he like has that like fourth child energy, and he loves being with other kids. So it'll be nice for him to
Oh, it'll be good.
have
It'll
some
be good. Well,
company. Yeah.
congratulations. That's great.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so last things before I forget. So if people want to if they want to find Greenhouse, what's the best place to find Greenhouse?
Great. If, you can find us. Hopefully, depending on where you are, like your local grocery store. You can find us online on Amazon. You can head over to drinkgreenhouse.com or greenhouse.ca, and depending on your area, and find us there. Yeah, if you follow us on our all our socials, we do lots of fun stuff there as well. But yeah, you can find us
Awesome.
in a lot of places. And if you can't find us somewhere at your local favorite, your local grocery or everything or anything, request tell that you want them to carry a greenhouse because then
Everybody
hopefully we
should.
can take
That's
care of
Everybody
it.
should.
Yeah,
that's a
everybody should.
that's awesome. Good for
Awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hannah.
Oh, well,
It's
thanks so
amazing.
much for having me,
Thank
guys.
you.
It was
All
No,
a
our
right.
great chat.
pleasure. Take
Thank
care of
you.
yourself. We'll chat soon. Phil, you
Yeah.
hang on for a bit.
Yeah.
Hannah, have
Okay.
an awesome afternoon.
All right. Thanks so
Okay.
much,
Take care.
guys.
Bye.
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 Oh, I'm
Wow.
so glad we did that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't realize they were like I thought this was going to be like a nichey little, 4 or 5 cafe
No.
kind of thing. But shit,
Mm-mm.
she's got some
Mm-mm.
distribution. They got some
She's
stuff
got
happening.
like they're
Yeah.
they're serious. Like
Oh no, they're doing some good stuff.
they're
Price points aren't
serious
even
about
that bad.
retail. Like look, it's cold pressed juice, right? And
Yeah.
all these other drinks, and they're serious about retail. Like they got the
Yeah.
bricks and mortar thing figured out. They got 7 stores,
Yeah.
and they
Oh, they
got the
get retail.
distribution
They
figured
get
out,
it.
right?
Yeah,
So,
it's not
like
bad.
it's kind of cool. Like
No,
not
it's
kind of
it's all
cool, it's
good.
cool.
No, it's actually
Like,
quite cool. And really,
yeah.
truly, like, I'm thinking of the juices we carry. At an 8.95, I mean, you're pushing, but you're not out in the world of outrageous.
Mm-mm.
You're pushing a limit. But that
Mm-hmm.
means I'm sure you could
Mm-hmm.
deal it down
Mm-hmm.
periodically to like a 6.95, 7.95. It's no
Yeah,
big
yeah, yeah.
deal. And the
Yeah, yeah.
shots at $5, you feature them at four. Like, that stuff should sell easy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Easy.
easy. And
Easy.
with 5 months of dating,
Yeah. It's good. You'll
yeah,
move
you're
through that.
that's
You can move through that.
oh, I think
Yeah.
so. I don't think that's a big deal. And I mean, it's still a good. Those are good categories, right? Like I think I like it. I think that's
No,
all
but
good in the
I
red.
really meant it. I think they're on the upswing because they have like they're right at that point where like a normal household, right? Like
Yeah.
2 years ago, a normal household should have been like, oh, we should keep these around.
Oh, we
But
should have
we
all been
weren't
getting
there.
shots.
But we weren't there, right?
No.
We really weren't. But now,
Well, now we'd
you
want to go
know,
back there. That's
yeah.
why the timing is different now. Who the
And
hell
you
wants to go
think
back in
like,
that shit?
yeah,
Right
you
now,
think
it's
like when we like even when we talked to Drew,
yeah,
right? Like that's what we
yeah,
were talking about was, yeah, now's the time, right? Because
absolutely.
like it's funny, before this podcast started, I don't even know, we're at an hour, so I don't know if anybody's still listening, but I was telling Kenny about how my house has been sick since he was here at my house
Mid
in
September.
September. Right. And so we've had these shots kicking around. We've had Drew shots kicking around. I will grab some of her shots, like, because you feel off. This is what you should be doing,
You
right?
know
Like, this
what?
will help.
It's a very
So it'll
inexpensive
help.
way
Yeah.
to fix things.
Yeah.
Not a huge commitment.
Yeah.
Better than being sick.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. So
100%.
what the hell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's very cool. It's very
Okay.
cool. All right.
That's it. Thanks for
Thanks for
listening, everybody.
listening.